With the new film Prey just on the horizon, we'll soon be seeing the very first motion picture depiction of a predator hunt taking place in the past. This is a concept that has always intrigued fans, and is a concept that Predator creators Jim and John Thomas had been considering ever since the second film. On their commentary track for Predator 2, recorded in the year 2004, Jim Thomas states, "It would be interesting down the line to see another take on Predator. Possibly a historical piece we played around with on set of doing something historical. What would it be like in a time when you had nothing but steam engines and flintlocks and you were up against something like this? That could be fun. Plenty of stories." The seed of this idea, of course, can be found at the ending of Predator 2 after Lieutenant Harrigan defeats the City Hunter Predator and encounters a large group of Yautja on their spacecraft. Their apparent leader, an elder Predator, provides Harrigan with a trophy of sorts, a weapon from hundreds of years in the past. This elder Predator holds a key to what we would understand about that past and the shaping of the Yautja Code of Honor. He has been referred to by many different names. Jim and John Thomas call him the Ancient One. Creature creator John Rosengrant of Stan Winston Studios refers to him as Greyback, and NECA, who had released a figure of this Predator, took on the name the Golden Angel. In 1996, a comic was published letting us in on the origins of this Predator and the trophy he gives to Harrigan. Predator 1718, written by Henry Gilroy with art by Igor Kordy, originally appeared in a Dark Horse Comics special, A Decade of Dark Horse. It later became published along with the Predator Comics line and was solidified in its omnibus collection. The Golden Angel moniker is derived from this story, and the history behind the pistol is revealed. In the year 1718, a lone predator is waiting on the shores of the Guinea coast. It spots a ship coming in. On its flag bears a symbol of a skull and crossbones. These men are pirates, and a group of passengers are rowing to the shore. As they get closer, the sounds of an argument can be heard. The man speaking is Rafael Adolini, the ship's captain, clutching a chest. "What you lads done is far beyond the brigand ship's code. The killing of a priest and stealing of the sacraments is a worse kind of sin." A crewman shoots back. "That's loot same as any other, Captain. The whole crew is with us and saying 'tis our property now." Adolini is not convinced. The breaking of their code of honor has cut him deep. "It belongs to the church, and that's whom it's going to, or I'm not your captain." The first crewman raises his rifle. The others grip their shovels, ready. "If that's how it is, then, you're not our captain." It is now clear to Adolini he's dealing with mutineers. They advance on him and the treasure he holds. "Evil bastards!" he shouts, and draws his pistol. The shot strikes a crewman directly in the head as he swipes a shovel at the captain. Another he kicks in the face before the dead man can hit the ground. Adolini is fast. He's precise with his firearm and physically adept, but he knows when to run. The injured crewman fires the rifle at the captain as he flees into the wooded area of the coast. The others plan for their attack. "Get your cutlass after him while I fetch the others." Camouflaged within the greenery, the predator watches. He waits, contemplating what he has just witnessed. He sees Adolini trek his way further into the woods, and a lone crewman fast on his trail. Both are armed with swords and soon meet atop a grassy hill. Adolini has stumbled and appears exhausted. The crewman smiles to himself, ready to slay the captain and retrieve the loot. The smile disappears. He lets out a blood-curdling groan as his eyes widen with shock. Something has struck him. He's lifted off the ground. A large blade has pierced through his chest. He could not see his assailant, and Adolini could only barely make it out. For a moment, it looked as if the trees had come to life. Looking closer, it was a spectral figure, not of this earth. A demon. It still gripped its weapon, skewering the crewman as the captain rose and swiped his sword at the figure. "Die, demon!" he shouted. Sparks of lightning surrounded this figure as it released its prey to the ground. It appeared in view to Adolini. He kept his sword raised and addressed this demon. "Or are you beast?" To his shock, it answered. A distorted voice echoed. "You beast." Adolini swung his sword with all his might, barely grazing the armored plating on the creature's knee. It retrieved its own weapon from the dead body on the ground and struck back. Adolini blocked it, but the force brought him to his knees. By this time, the remaining crewmates had made their way to the shore and followed the signs of the disturbance ahead. One observed, "He's fighting a golden angel. Or else Lord itself." They briefly watched the duel, trying to make sense of the events unfolding before them. But their focus returned to their greed and the chest of treasure still by the captain's feet. "No matter, angel or devil, the treasure is ours to take back. Who's man enough to go now?" A group cried out and came running in with swords ready. In a matter of no more than a second, this golden angel sliced through two men's chests. Another was armed with a pistol and came at the captain. He fired, but missed. Adolini had ducked the blast and in the same motion sliced the throat of another mutineer with his sword. The fight continued. More bodies and heads came tumbling bloodily to the ground. One of the crew was holding back, carefully observing. He gathered the discarded rifles. Back to back, the captain and the predator each held their stance. "Bastards!" Adolini proclaimed. The distorted voice echoed back. "Bastards!" It appeared all who wished them dead were defeated. There were no more to fight against, except, of course, each other. The thought quickly dawned on Adolini, and he moved away from against the beast's back. He kept a pace ahead of it, facing it, and drawing his weapon. The predator did the same. For a moment, the predator only stared at the captain. It did not make the first move. Finally, the man shouted, "Well then, come on, beast!" Before either could make their move, a booming blast rung out from behind the captain. He groaned in pain. The remaining crewman had revealed himself from within the woods. Adolini fell forward into the predator, and he caught the dying man in his arms. The bullet hole was still smoking. The sword was still gripped in his hand. The crewman darted out and fired the other rifle. "That treasure is mine, demon!" he shouted, and he shot the rifle, grazing an unarmored portion of the creature's leg. It fell back. As quickly as he could, the crewman ran for the chest and grabbed it. "Mine!" he shouted. From the hill above, he could see the ship beginning to drift away. In the crew's haste to chase after the captain, it had not been anchored. A shot fired from the predator's shoulder cannon, exploding through the mutineer's back and outwards from his chest. He was sent flying off the hill, hitting the ground dead. Staring at his kill, the predator muttered the words of Adolini once more. "Bastards." From behind him, the dying sounds of the captain could be heard, coughing and gurgling in his final moments. Blood ran down his mouth and chest, soaking the grass a deep red. He stared up to the predator, holding out his pistol. Not a gesture to harm, but an offering. "Take it," he said, and died. His final offering, his gift to the alien for this hunt, had an engraving. Rafael Adolini, 1715. The predator laid the captain in a makeshift grave. With him, the chest he defended with his very life. The loose piece that once hung from a necklace on the captain's neck held his attention. He examined the artifact closely. A solid gold crucifix. It glimmered in the setting sun. He threw it back into the captain's grave. This dangling reminder, it observed, to be not unlike the mementos it adorned on itself from past hunts. A familiar sense of honor and a code could be understood in a short time with this unusual human. He decided on a trade. The predator pulled out his weapon, used in their battle, and unsheathed its blade. He decided to toss it into the grave as well. "Take it," the distorted voice said. The sun set on the shores of the Guinea coast. Rafael Adolini's ship rocked back and forth against the protruding stones. It was slow and silent, as if manned by an invisible captain. The sky lit up a glorious gold, and its angel returned to the heavens. The predator held on to this trophy after a hunt that seemed to forever change its understanding of human honor for nearly 300 years. After his victory against the hunter in Los Angeles in 1997, it appeared the Elder finally found another human worthy of accepting this now ancient weapon in Harrigan. Its significance is only hinted at in the actual film, but the 1718 comic sheds some further light. There's also more to consider in the Predator 2 novelization, written by Simon Hawke, in which events play out a little differently, and in which Harrigan takes a moment to consider why he was given this gift. The Predator Code of Honor could be interpreted differently as well, since the City Hunter has a different fate from what we see in the final film. Here's what occurs in the novelization after Harrigan defeats the hunter with its disc weapon. He froze at the sudden trilling sound coming from behind him. He turned, and like a ghost appearing from the mist, he saw another alien materialize behind him as its light-bending camouflage screen faded away. And then another one. And still another. And another. And another. He felt the disc fall from his grasp. He backed away with utter disbelief, confronted by the sight of 10 of the alien creatures all around him. He felt the bottom drop out of his stomach and his legs buckled beneath him. He sank to his knees with the sudden, horrifying realization that it was all over. There was no escape, no hope, none whatsoever. As he watched, dazed, waiting for the final blow to fall, the aliens advanced. But they ignored him and approached their wounded, dying comrade. One of the aliens looked larger and older than the others, its scaled skin a deeper, darker shade, its armor festooned with many trophies taken from countless hunts throughout the universe. As this one approached, the wounded predator looked up and silently held out an arm in a gesture that might have been supplication, or perhaps acceptance. Bending its head backwards, the wounded predator exposed its throat. The leader, it could only be the leader, raised his arm magisterially, holding his weapon high. The twin blades gleamed. With a lightning stroke, the blades flashed down. The severed head fell to the floor with a thud, disappearing into the swirling mist. The penalty for failure, Harrigan thought, numbly. He could only watch as the leader advanced toward him. Watch and wait for the inevitable. The leader raised its arm, but the killing stroke never came. The blades retracted, and for a long moment the alien leader simply stood there, looking down at him. Then it reached behind itself and took out some sort of object, which it tossed to Harrigan. Purely by reflex, Harrigan caught it. He stared at it, dumbstruck. It was an ancient matchlock pistol with a silver forestock and butt cap. Engraved in the silver was a name, in Italian script, and a date. Once Harrigan escapes the ship and assesses himself as safe for the moment, the novelization goes on to explain some of the considerations behind this pistol. Slowly, painfully, he rose to his knees and staggered to his feet, still holding the ancient matchlock pistol in his hand. He stared down at it, wondering what it was supposed to mean. What had the alien leader's gesture in giving it to him signified? An old, treasured trophy from some human taken centuries ago who proved a worthy opponent? A memento of the one that got away? Or perhaps the meaning was more literal. The presentation of an ancient, hopelessly primitive weapon, signifying, this is what you are to us. Remember. The new film Prey is just about a week away. Its advertising is in full force, and speculations are abound as to how exactly the feral predator's hunt ties into the overall predator history. Eagle-eyed fans have spotted a familiar-looking pistol in one of the officially released stills, theorizing it may be the Rafael Adolini pistol. Could it possibly be the very same pistol we saw at the end of Predator 2? If so, will the backstory of the 1718 comic be retconned? Or is a pistol just a pistol? Comment below and share your thoughts. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and be sure to subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. A very special thanks goes out to Brandon James, Grizz4756, Ronni Jensen, and XenoShadowMorph, Queen Tiers of the Patreon Hive. Thank you to Gregory Ford and John Griggs, the Hive's Praetorians. And a very special thanks goes out to Lady Anne in the Ellen Ripley Tier of Excellence. And in the role of WEYLAND YUTANI executives, Michael Cole, Nicholas Butta, and Wesley A. Weaver Jr. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.